What up? What up? What up?
What's happening? All
Oh,
right.
another good day to be another good day to be alive.
Oh, yeah. Quiet it down a little bit for more I can hear. All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So, we're gonna kind of go. Am I talking about? Okay, there we go. Anyway, so we're gonna. It's gonna be a pretty entertaining night, slash educational. So, first off, thank y'all for being here. You got myself, Vanguard. You got Demon and Absentee. Ranger J was in here, but maybe he'll be back. If not, he'll be in the chat. But anyway, before we get started, I get asked this question a lot: what is evolution Vanguard? What is the purpose of it? So I'm gonna go ahead and start the videos by introducing ourselves once again. We did have a video that we put out, kind of explaining what our goal is. So we have several avenues that we're trying to maintain. So first off is representing America and the truth, right? Um, you will hear the truth on our channel. We do fact check ourselves, um, and we try to keep it entertaining. But sometimes there's serious points, right, that people really need to adhere to, like tonight. Also, our organization, which is Evolution Vanguard 1776 2.0. You can join that. We actually have a website. I will post a link throughout the night. You can click on there, join up.
It's
What
also
is that?
scrolling in the bottom of the video.
Yeah, it's also scrolling at the bottom of the video. So, what is Evolution Vanguard organization? What it is we bring together like-minded people that love what America was and want it to be preserved in the way that it should be. Um, Now, are we completely oppositionist? No. But it is a social network that's provided so that people can reach out and find kind of a second family, so to speak. Um, and what you will find out immediately upon joining that we are a pretty tight knit group. We spend a lot of time conversing with each other, talking, kind of hashing out what's going on. We keep it honest. If you're kind of sensitive to the honest kind of Gen X mentality, then I would not advise you to join up on on that site or this channel. Because, like I said, if you're here pandering for feel good moments, it's probably not a good place for you. We do have random guests on here. We've had a member before. Anybody's welcome to join. If you are a member of the website, you can come on here anytime. We're not here showboating for one person's personal gain. We just want everybody's voices to be heard. Now, I do encourage debaters, so I like a good debate. Anybody that's out there in the world that's watching this video and you want to get on here and maybe we have a little bit of a difference of opinion, I'm not against that. I like hearing other people's different opinions. Maybe I'll learn something. Maybe you'll learn something. Either way, communication is the best. Demon is a masturbator. I mean, master debater. Well, you left that one open. But
No,
anyway, tonight, what we're going to talk about now that we introduced ourselves again, we're going to be talking about are you prepared? Now, people have different terminologies for preparation. And we're not going to talk about having, 50 pounds of wheat at your house or 100 gallons of water or anything like that. We're actually going to talk about the actual preparedness of opposition on American soil. Okay. Um, and it's going to be more based on similarity of like a militiaman situation, right? A little bit of history about militias. Those of you that do not know, I actually know have done a lot of studying on it. So, and a lot of people don't know that the Scottish actually made up a very, very large portion of the Revolutionary War on the American side. Okay, a lot of people just don't know that the Scottish fought several wars against the English over and over and over, or the Crown, so to say. And then they
yeah,
got,
just because they were English.
huh?
And just because they were English.
Yeah, pretty much. And that was the whole battle of the redcoats in Culloden Moor. They lost that battle. They had that battle, and then they were imprisoned, and then they got sent. A lot of them got sent to what was called the colonies, which is now America. So that's pre-revolutionary, and there were several fights that occurred in over a 15-year period between the Scottish kind of led the way initially because of taxes. Okay. They were getting overtaxed. They had a tax program set in place, right, which is the way it always starts is, hey, you're going to pay this certain amount of taxes. And then back then, the sheriffs were tasked with coming around and getting money. So they would get greedy, right, and they would come double collect. Not only would they get what the crown's ransom was for taxes, they would come back and still try to get a double dip. So here's one of the scenarios. So if somebody that they saw worthy, which was like a higher up or whatever the case may be, somebody that they deemed would be in favor of the crown, they would award them land, and we're talking like 10,000 acres at a time. Now, the person that was the colonel over that 10,000 acres, they were tasked with paying taxes. So what they would do is bring more people onto their land. They would work, pay taxes to the owner of the land, and then therefore the owner would pay to the crown. Now, here's what would happen a lot. They would develop this land, right? Make it a good place. Got a lot of people moving in, create a town, whatever the case may be. And then the taxes would continue to raise. And then guess what happened? They couldn't pay the taxes. So the crown, so to speak, would come in and take all that back because that was the bargain ship. We give you this, you pay these taxes. It wasn't a warning. If you didn't pay them, we take it back. So they would ultimately develop this land for the English and then get it taken away. So that's one of the reasons for the Revolutionary War. Just a little bit of education. So militia, how did militia start? Actually, the crown would hire civilians. Okay, did they know how to fight? No. Were they trying to gain something out of it? Yeah, they were trying to gain the good view from the crown, right? So they would all join up and then join up with what we call the redcoats to go after oppositions. So that's how militia started the first time on this soil. And then, of course, later on, the militia turned on the crown or England, right? So that's kind of where we stand right now. I mean, to be honest. So that's what we're going to go into. I know there's a lot of information, but I just kind of want to give everybody a base because if you don't know where it comes from, then you don't know where to begin, right? So I just give you a little bit of information as to why militias were formed and the provocation of that. But anyway, that was a lot. If y'all hadn't figured it out, I'm kind of a history nerd. Don't say nothing, Damon.
Everybody should know their history.
You should, at least a little bit, right? And you are absolutely correct, Highlander. That is exactly what they were called, the regulators.
Yep.
George Washington. I can't say this 100% factual, but I mean, I read it in a book, and I mean, this book was printed way before the internet. So George Washington funded the militia. Just so y'all know that. He was one of those people that was trusted and given all that land as well. You know what I'm saying? So
that's where Mount Vernon came from.
Yeah. So he he actually pushed the militia, paid, and the thing is, he was storing up money and funding it like 12 years before it happened. So it was a long, sought-out plan. But anyway, do some shout-outs. Who we got over here before we get started? Let me start at the top. We got Patriot Nation, Highlander. What's up, buddy? Miss April D. Who else we got? Saxman. What's up, buddy? Cat. We got Ranger J in there. John Frank. Welcome to the show, buddy. That looks like the norm right there. People are climbing in here. We're picking up some subscribers right now as we speak. So
Heck yeah.
good deal. We I think last time we checked we were at 346. In here. 347. So anyway, good deal. I did want to give a shout out to a channel. I have to give the credit to Demon on this one.
Don't give it to me. Give the credit to Ranger J.
Okay, well, Ranger J, it was filtered down. So he shared it over to Demon. Demon shared it over to me and Absentee. So I'm going to actually copy this guy's link. Y'all check him out. He doesn't have the support that he needs.
He certainly doesn't have the support that he deserves.
Correctly. So I'm going to post that link in here. And I'll post it at the end of the video too, because I don't want y'all to leave right now, because you'll miss some information, but I will post it at the end. This guy does not know that we're pushing this channel. He has no idea. We're just doing it because we believe as collectively as a group that everyone needs to have this information out there. And he's got a lot of good information, y'all. So anyway, which one of y'all want to go first? You or you?
I'll go. Whatever. So we talked a little bit about the history of the militia, and I'm actually going to be talking the stuff that I'm wanting to talk about today. It involves the militia, or the modern concept of what a militia is, not what the common narrative is pushed about militias, but what they really actually are. And even further, I have some ideas in regards to preparedness for basically a modern Minuteman type of concept. So a little bit more history for anybody that might not know. We had back in the 1774, I think, is when you first started seeing these quote unquote Minutemen. But at the foundation of the militia, right, they were founded by the crown, and they were ran by Tory officers, which basically is people loyal to the crown for obvious reasons. In the early 1770s, this concept of having Minutemen, which basically was members of the militia who would be ready to go at a minute's notice, hence the name, came about around like 1772, 1774, somewhere right around there. And basically the idea was that approximately a third of each regiment of militia would be these Minutemen, basically a rapid response effort. Well, to be that, there's obviously certain requirements. You have to be able to meet certain things. You can't just be like Joe Bob with his pitchfork, because that's not going to do crap against a musket, right? So these days, you can take that same kind of concept and modernize it. And yeah, like you have the basic idea of, hey, you need a rifle and a handgun and blah 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 blah. But I'm looking at, we've talked at length ad nauseum, I would even say, in regards to body armor and rifles and all that kind of crap. Little plug, if you join up, we do training on Fridays. We talk about a lot of that kind of stuff there too. Anyway, what I'm really looking to talk about today as far as preparedness goes is this the idea of having sustainment gear in equal preparation to arms and armor and all that stuff. So this idea for me came about last night. I was watching on the channel that we shared. He has this basically, it's a Minuteman box, and it's a Plano box, full of, socks, clothes, some food to eat, some water, some filtration stuff, some medical gear, some extra ammo, all that kind of stuff, right? It's separate from your line gear, but it's stuff that you'd want to take with you. To take that a step further, I'm looking at also, so say for example, something happens, right? Russia invades, China invades, blah, blah, blah. And the people of this nation decide that it's time to take action. Forces gather up. There's a rough organization of individuals, but crap, we got 150 dudes here, but no way to cook food, no way to do any of this kind of crap. So the concept of preparedness that I really want to harp on this evening, is the idea of basically making a camp box, kind of like almost like a mobile kitchen box, right? Gives you the ability to cook food, all that kind of comfort item type stuff. So I'm looking at building or putting together this kit of just the stuff that you're going to need for day-to-day type life. Right. So if something were to pop off, you're probably going to have to travel somewhere. Now, this doesn't take into account the storage of meat. This is dependent on, local procurement of protein sources. But, it's like having a tough box or a Plano box or, whatever you call it, but having, a camp stove, having a skillet and a saucepan and, maybe some enamel coated plates and a little bit of silverware, extra 1 pound propane bottles or white gas, depending on, what you're using for your stove. And then also having in and I'm not talking about like MREs, because I've consumed enough MREs to know that I don't want to consume anymore. But stuff like going to Wally World or the $1.25 General or Ollie's or Aldi's and getting like those $1 pasta sides or rice sides and things like that, shelf stable milk cartons that you can pack away in this so that you can have a hot meal that doesn't come freeze dried in a bag. And it doesn't really cost a lot as far as individual things. You can go get, you can go to Academy and get a 2-burner camp stove for $30. But that's kind of the big one that I was looking to harp on today was, you gotta have your armor and all that kind of crap. Your offensive action, direct action type kit, but you also need sustainment. And I think that when it comes to this idea of Minuteman kit or Militia kit, because it gets overlooked. There's a lot to be said for a hot meal and a change of socks. So you guys can jump in anytime. I don't feel like talking this whole time.
Well, I'll jump out from another angle. Everything you said is perfectly legit, makes sense. It's something that's overlooked a lot of times when we have these discussions. Think back to Revolutionary War and the things that Dean was referring to. You had to commit people to do nothing but search for fodder, which is basically feed the men, feed the animals, maintain the camp. You had to have the support to be able to operate in any way, size, shape, or fashion. I mean, if you've got soldiers, for example, or militiamen, and they have to spend all their time trying to catch food or, whatever the case may be, get supplies, how effective are they going to be fighting? It's something I have to plan for as you're going. One other thing that I would point out too, not only from the food aspect, but think about this: you've got to sleep.
Right. Shelter concerns, and
yeah. I mean, you need to have something other than a poncho. I mean, you might want to think about having something a little bit more sustainable in that aspect. I'm not saying you're going to be taking all this shit with you all the time, but have things broke down so you have everything you need for whatever situation you may be going into.
Right.
Whether it's a small tent, sleeping bag, blanket. I mean, there's dozens of things.
Yep.
But it's just something to think about, and a lot of people, like I said, they overlook all this. And like Demon said, we all talk about body armor, firearms, ammunition,
right.
vehicles, X, Y, Z.
That's the cool guy stuff. That's what everybody wants to talk about.
Right.
But if you got all the cool guy stuff, but you forget to put foot powder and a change of socks in your bag, well, in 3 days when your feet are rotting off, it doesn't really matter how cool your freaking rifle is.
Yep, that's it. Wasn't it jungle rot they get in Vietnam? Isn't that what they called it? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, they called it jungle rot. Really, it was just an advanced case of athlete's foot.
Right.
Could be remedied with talcum powder and fresh socks.
Yes, sir. Exactly. I mean, people don't realize how important. I mean, just think about this. Think how important footwear is if you're going to be on the move, on your feet. Yep. I mean, that shit's going to matter real quick. You're going to know whether your boots, your shoes, where the hell you're wearing. You're going to know real fast whether you made a good choice or a bad one.
And in regards to footwear is a perfect example. Everybody talks about what kind of kit the military is issued. I would say don't look at what they're issued. Look at what they use. You'll see a lot of Keens, a lot of especially look at what operators are using, not what your average infantryman's using, but what are your operators using. Right. You'll see a lot of mid-top Keens and Merrills, Danners. Them dudes ain't rocking, USGI issued boots because those things suck. They do. They're heavy. They hold in heat. They hold in moisture. They're garbage. So, if you're kind of wondering, well, what should I get? You could surf Google or Brave or, your chosen search engine of just go look. We have 20 years of photographs from Afghanistan and Iraq. Go look at pictures of the Ranger Vats, the SEALs, the operators, the PJs, the TAC-Ps, all those dudes. You can usually, if you know what you're looking for, you can tell what they're wearing, what they're using. That's kind of the stuff you want to go after. Merrills are expensive. They can be, but they're worth. I think probably the best hiking boot on the market right now is the Merrill Moab 2. And if coloration doesn't matter as much to you, to give you an example, I found on eBay the other day a pair of sage green Merrill Moab 2 combat boots for $50, and they were brand new. So you don't have to go out there and drop $200 on a pair of hiking boots.
No,
You know, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
you're good. No, we're all here, just bouncing stuff around.
uh, I would say too, like now personally, like when it comes to packs, for example, right? You're gonna have to have something to carry your crap.
Hmm.
One thing that I think that the military got right was having multiple bags in a system of carrying your shit. And basically what I mean is they'll have, a rucksack and then a patrol pack. So your rucksack is kind of like your sustainment bag. That's where that stays in wherever you're sleeping. Your patrol bag is your day-to-day backpack kind of thing. Now, a lot of that can be edited in the context of what the hypotheticals that we're talking about, but that's something to think about. Is where are you going to carry your crap in, and how easy is it to pick that stuff up and go if you need to? Frank, I would agree, potentially, to hit up your local military surplus, but like if you live in an area where I do, the one surplus store that I have in a 250-mile radius sucks. But eBay is a fantastic resource for a lot of things.
Yeah, if you know what you're looking for and know what to look, what to avoid, eBay can't be very useful.
Yep. And yeah, you might have to sacrifice. Like if you're on a budget like I am, like a lot of people, because money is tight all around these days. You may have to make some concessions, right? Everybody wants multicam. That's cool guy camo, right? But what's really cheap on eBay is anything in ACU pattern, because that camouflage pattern sucks ass. However, you can go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's and buy a bottle of RIT dye.
Yeah.
And dye ACU in a green or a brown, and it actually becomes a pretty decent camouflage. So where you might find like a 3-day assault pack that's in multicam and it'd be $185, that same pack in ACU might be $35.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not above dyeing something and then spray painting it.
Yeah, well, and I was so Saxman made a good point, right? Don't buy the Chinese shit. I will say this. I've got a lot of Chinese shit, and it works. People will tell you every day, "Oh, Condors for airsoft." Well, I deployed and used Condor shit in Iraq. Be wary, but there's a lot of shit made in China that is still quality kit.
Right. I don't think he necessarily was directing that towards.
Yeah. Don't buy the Wish.com shit. Don't buy the Wish shit. The reality is every major manufacturer of tactical gear has the majority of their stuff manufactured in Asia, to include like Mystery Ranch.
Yeah.
And just think, a Mystery Ranch backpack, right? A 27-liter 2-day assault pack from Mystery Ranch right now, it goes for $248. Guess where it's made? In fucking China. Where you could go buy like a One Tigress bag or a Rothko bag. Rothko has a assault pack that's in God's Plaid in M81 Woodland on Amazon right now for $35.
Yeah.
They're both made in China. So I would say yes, Saxman, I would agree. Don't buy Wish.com Chinese shit, but most of what you buy on the market these days is made. It's either made in China or how
sourced in China.
they'll say it's made in the USA with global materials.
Yep.
So, you know, but I mean, you know, even like with like I said, like sustainment gear, right? So, you know, a $20, $30 camp stove, you know, a cheap stainless steel or carbon steel skillet, that kind of stuff. Like Highlander said, a stitching awl or a sewing kit, you know, rifle cleaning kits, all that kind of stuff. It's all stuff that gets glossed over because everybody wants to talk about, you know, ACOGs, and they want to talk about, you know, $2,000 and $3,000 rifles and Safariland holsters, and you know. Now, I'm not saying go out there and look like what is it that the dude that just went to jail, Grandmaster McGriddle, his group of people. Don't go out there with Wish.com load bearing vest and a Uncle Mike's holster. But a lot of stuff is good stuff that you can have for cheap. You know, I see it all the time. People knock on quote unquote airsoft gear. But I would challenge folks to go watch a few videos of Milsim airsoft events, like some of these big events like Milsim West. Them dudes beat the shit out of their gear. Say what you want to about it, but them dudes are rough on kit.
I'd say when you go ahead, I'm sorry.
You know, just because something's labeled for quote unquote airsoft, most of that shit's still made out of like 600 denier Cordura and high quality nylon webbing and Fastex buckles. It just doesn't have Cry on it, or you know, T-Rex arms, or one of those douche canoe brands.
Well, I'd say when it comes to the airsoft gear and shit like that, some of it's great, some of it's fine, but
Yeah.
do your
Some of
research,
Trash.
you know, because some of it, like you said, you know, it's Wish.com garbage.
Yeah.
You know, but some of it's made pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
It just depends on what it is.
But you know, and now something else that I will say, there are some areas, for example, sleeping bags. There are some areas where, right, so if you want a sleep system that's going to be mobile, that means you need it to be relatively lightweight, packable, and provide you with some sort of waterproofness. So whether that be a bivy cover or whatever, suck it up, Buttercup. You're going to pay money. You just are. But that's fine. Make those purchases. I wouldn't go to Wally World and buy a 50-degree bag and expect for it to work for more than a week. Not in those kind of conditions. It's not meant for that. So there are things where you're going to have to spend some money. But there's a lot of ways that you can kit yourself out in a sufficient manner and still be able to do it within the confines of a budget. So just my kind of takeaway, you know, as far as Mama D, you have a good night. Thanks for joining. You know, I know that this is not really like a popular topic because, you know, we hear all the time, it's a militia, militias are bad, blah, 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 blah. But tough cookies, Buttercup. It's reality. And I saw a meme earlier today that really hit home to me because I used to make this joke all the time and I quit making it. You know, oh no, I've lost my guns in a boating accident. I haven't, because you know what? If it's time to lose them, it's probably time to use them. So I am trying to implement that mindset in other areas of that kind of preparedness. Absolutely, Jay. If you're going to pay money for stuff, pay for stuff that'll help you sleep, keep you dry, and take care of your feet. 100%.
Yep. Because if you don't have those three things there, you're not going to get any rest. And when it comes time where the rubber meets the road, you're going to be hurting.
Exactly. And ideally, you would approach this with a group of people of like-mindedness, an somewhat actual militia group. And then, like Taxman said there, you could take advantage of government liquidation sales where they're selling like a lot of 20 sleep systems. Everybody dumps in $100 and buys the lot. Where if you, as an individual buyer, go on eBay and get a military improved cold weather sleep system, you're going to spend $200 on it. So,
Damn, Jay.
you know what? It sucks, but I agree with him.
Well, it's a fact.
If you go lame, hey, it is what it is, dude. You better heal up quick and learn how to cook at camp, or you're getting left behind. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Anybody say Argo? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So, Frank, I would cautiously agree. There are more people that have firsthand experience and use with hammocks than I do, but I have heard lots of good things if you know how to properly hang one. Now, somebody like me, I got to have something relatively firm to sleep on, so I'm not so sure that a hammock would really do for me.
They got you, buddy. Let me try to remember the one I use. I think it's called Shoot.
But I definitely think to have one is a good idea.
Well, they make one that's a complete cover. That's more like a sleeping bag off the ground, pretty much.
Yeah. So, that's one thing I will say is even if it's not something that you use all the time, you can go get an Eno Echo November Oscar 2-person hammock for like $45, and you might not use it all the time, but if you have that thing in your patrol pack and you need, Saxman, yeah, no one gets left behind is a great idea. But in that type of environment, that type of action, it's just a good idea. If you're talking about militia, right? Talking about the type of guerrilla warfare tactics that we as a nation invented and utilized all over the world, you're talking about hit and run type stuff. It's a great concept. But if two dudes got to carry one dude, all three of them are going slow.
Well, it all goes back to the whole thing I was saying earlier about, back in the day, you had, I forget what they called it. It was, I guess it'd be the supply train. Yeah. And it would follow the Army units, and it would have the hospital. It'd have everything in it.
Right.
So if you had any wounded or whatever, they were in that.
Sure.
They follow behind, and, the concept's there, but as things have advanced, you compare the 1700s to now, it's a whole different beast.
Right. And I'm not saying like, oh, look, they're slowing us down a little bit because we got to take a little extra care. I'm talking about like, dude's gut shot up. Sucks to be you. Here's a rifle and a grenade. Okay, bye.
So you're saying you want to go out all Red Dawn, right?
I mean, Wolverines, baby. If you're going to do it, go big. You're talking about a Disney movie. Oh, Lilo and
Stitch.
Stitch. You were
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
This is my Ohana. Ohana mean family. I'll put a morale patch with your name on it on my helmet.
Well, and you know, all reality, you know, and it's based on the situation, y'all. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
if you're in a hot zone, right? Of course, you're not going to be able to backpack somebody the hell out of there. You know what I'm saying? Best thing I can tell you is train up. You know, don't be that guy. But, you know, if you're in a non-futile situation and opportunities there, it's not what we call a death wound or a non-field medical situation. Yeah, you carry them out, but nobody wants to be in that situation. So we're gonna go back to. Well, I'm gonna kind of take it back a little bit, and you know, we talked about several gear and stuff like that. I for one do a lot of exercising more than I should, a lot more than I should. But everybody's got their limitations, and I know that's a common thing. That you know, you say work out, you know, exercise, and the common thing is people, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. I got a leg injury. That's cool. That's fine. If you got a leg injury, work out your arms and your other leg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you got a hip problem, work out your upper body. You got an arm injury, work out the other limbs, right? So you can overcompensate. Believe me, you can overcompensate on another part of your body and then kind of offset it. You're not going to be perfect. And I know a lot of people, you know, they get aspirated and shit when they're trying to work out. You just got to work through it. It's all about training. Just get out there, do what you can. Don't kill yourself. I mean, you know, a lot of people, they get this misconception of exercise. Oh, I'm going to go out there and bench 250 pounds. No, hell, you're not. Okay, you're going to go out there, reality, you're going to go bench 90. Okay. And then a couple weeks later, you'll get to 110 and then so forth. Right. So a lot of people get a misconception. I need to go out there and be ready to go into the damn Marine Corps drill automatically. You can't do that. Right. Know your limits. But that is a main part of being prepared. All that gear and shit's not going to do you any good if you can't carry it. Just being honest. All right. I'd like to say I could carry my own weight and probably somebody else's shit, but I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Because if I've got my preparedness bag with me and then somebody else has got something else, you know, you're just weighing down the group. And if you're inefficient to the group, then you're inefficient to yourself. Let's see. I'm a DV at 100 per rating. I'm always pushing myself further than I should. But if I sit around and don't do anything, I'm not helping. Yeah, you're right, Frank. But I think me and you are kind of on the same page. You know, that's like somebody wants to get a damn six pack or some shit like that. They want to go break out and shove their feet under the damn love seat and try to do 500 damn setups in a night. You're not going to do anything but hurt yourself.
Well, what I'll say too, in regards to your physical preparedness, don't get me wrong. You got to be physically fit to a degree. But here's what I will say: if you ain't when you start, you will be before long.
Right.
But I will say this: if you go look at Army Rangers, Air Force PJs, TAC Ps, Delta dudes. Them dudes ain't no 185 pound 6-pack ab. Dudes. They're 265 pound, 6'5". So the whole, you ain't got to look like a Greek god, but you need to be able to hump your own gear.
Right, and I kind of base my setting is you should be able to carry your weight or move your weight. So I'm a 230 pound man. If I can't physically, I'm not saying pick up 230 pounds, but physically move another 230 pound object out of my way, then I'm not in shape.
Right.
You should,
Well, and I will say, adrenaline does a lot, but like me, for example, I'm right now, as I sit, I'm probably about 270 pounds. With kit on, I personally will stand before you weighing over 300 pounds.
right.
That's a lot. But if I need to move that kind of weight out of the way, I can.
Yeah, and adrenaline does play a part in it, but that's in a hostile situation, which adrenaline, doesn't last long, unfortunately. If it did, it would be great, but it does not. You're going to have a crash session afterwards.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to go from being able to carry your own weight to not being able to carry half your weight. And, we're not being very meticulous of this. We're picky. We're just kind of being honest. And like I stated at the beginning of this, this is an honest channel, right? So we just want you to be prepped as well as you can. And like Demon said, if you're not prepared, you're definitely not going to go negative by doing what you can. I mean,
Right.
Anything you do is an improvement.
And
Now,
it's, like I said,
I'm not a jogger either. I don't jog at all. Should I? Yeah, maybe. But
here.
You see me running, you need to be worried about what's behind me.
Look, the Bible says that only the wicked run when no one's chasing them. I'm just saying.
Well, there that is. That's what I'm saying. If you see me running, you need to take cover and look and see what's behind me, because there's something serious. Because number one, either it's something I've never seen before and I don't want to oppose it, or I've ran out of ammo. So that's the two options.
Oh, you should never go black on ammo.
Well,
you never know.
You never know.
You're right.
Speaking of that, and I always hit on this all the time, and I'm a specialty gun person. I love having, specialty rounds and stuff like that. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if I'm going out into the world in a protective situation, I'm going to carry what's called a common round weapon.
Exactly.
What is a common round weapon? 9mm, 5.56. Okay, you're not going to go out there with a damn 7.62 by 56 rifle. Your neighbor's not going to have that shit. Okay. You got
a good rule of thumb is NATO rounds and or 7.62 by 39.
Those are commons.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Absolutely. Highlander, you're on point. Hydration. Hydrate.
Absolutely.
Because if you start chilling, you start getting that chill factor, you are way past repair.
Nalgene had it right with their slogan back in the day, hydrate or die.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's
Unless
crazy.
you need to drink more coffee because it's got water in it.
Actually, there's a lot of good benefits from coffee. A lot of people
probably not the amount that I drink.
Well, probably me either. Just so y'all know, if they can make a gasoline flavor, well, no, I can't afford gasoline coffee, but if they made something as strong as high octane, I'd probably drink it, just being honest.
I mean, they do.
What was that site? I'll plug this shit. What is it?
What site? What are you talking about?
The one I just went on and ordered coffee.
Oh, Blackout Coffee?
Blackout
Coffee,
yeah.
Guys.
I got mine. It came last week. I love that shit.
Yeah, that's from Guns and Gadgets.
Yeah.
Over there, talk about some great two-way news and what's relevant there. He is a co-owner of that company.
Yeah, we don't mess with Black Rifle Coffee, just so y'all know.
No, they're a bunch of liberal piss ants.
Well, the thing is, we hadn't messed with them in a long time, like way before all this shit.
Yep. Yeah. Blackout shot themselves in the foot and then shot them again.
Yeah. Black Rifle.
Yeah, Black Rifle. I'm sorry. Blackout's good, folks. Rifle.
I'm plugging them. You chopping them.
No. My apologies.
But I guess we're painting with broad strokes here, but really it's look at what sustainment gear would be needed, right? You're not looking at the 2 or 3 day type stuff. You're looking at the here's a base of operations. You're going to be here for a week or longer type situation. That's kind of the kit that we're talking about. So, methods for cooking, because you might not always, you might be in a non-permissive environment where fires are not an option. So having a stove, having the implements to cook in, a skillet, a saucepan, durable utensils for cooking with, all that kind of stuff. Don't go over there to Wally World and go buy a 52-cent plastic spatula, because it's not going to last. A Dakota hole is an option.
I'll tell you what else is another option too. Vaseline and pure alcohol is a no flame way to cook.
Yeah, doing a penny alcohol stove.
Yeah, so y'all could do that. That's always and you can buy those cans cheap, those ready heat cans.
Yeah, but again though, like that's the kind of thing that I would throw in a patrol pack.
Right.
I'm talking about like you've set up a camp. You and 30 dudes are together operating, and you've set up a camp. I'm not really talking about like you and a fire team worth of people, you and 3 or 4 dudes on a 3-day jaunt. I'm talking about like a base camp. You're not going to use a penny stove every day to cook food in a base camp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're talking about a non-flame situation, is what we were kind of leading into. And that's just an option.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But like I said, I was more focused on that kind of segment of it all, personally. So that's rocket fuel. That's my regular cup of coffee. What are you talking about there, Alan? But actually, I know Saxman did it in jest, but actually, things like cheap vodka, would be one of those things that you want to have around, because you can make tinctures, you can cleanse wounds with it, all that kind of stuff. That's I know we're talking a lot about gear, but the other thing too is knowledge. Gaining knowledge now and knowing how to use it is just as important. Knowing that you can take some type of local vegetation and make a tincture that would help with antibiotic property and stuff like that. So having the supplies that you would need to make that kind of stuff, that's kind of where I was leading into with this whole thing. And cheap vodka is a great base for a lot of those things.
Well, something else too, you can look at all this information from the standpoint, it doesn't necessarily have to be, there's a impending revolution or anything like that. Suppose there's a wide scale natural disaster.
Right. Rolling blackouts, for example.
Well, yeah, that's a good one. Let's say that you're no longer, you may be at home, you may not be. You may be a situation where you were evacuated for whatever reason. And your choices are pretty much, you can go to whichever Walmart or whatever FEMA camp they got set up, which most people are going to say, hell no. Or, can you set up with some like-minded people and kind of establish a base camp to see if you can ride it out until some structure gets reestablished or there's some way to find out what's going on.
Right.
All this stuff will be of immense value to you if you're in a position where you can mobilize and set up like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be, hostile action. There's a lot of things. I mean, think about, I've seen places been devastated by hurricanes, tornadoes. I mean, look at Katrina.
Right. I was saying, look at Katrina. That's a perfect example.
Yeah,
Look
exactly.
at Hurricane Sandy and what it did to New York City.
Yep, exactly.
So investing. You can invest in all the cool guy shit, but invest in the necessary day-to-day life shit too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the I know we've harped on socks a couple of times, but not only socks, but knowing what type of socks.
Yeah.
Don't go out there and go buy a 12-pack of Hanes white cotton crew socks because they're going to rot your feet off. That's one of those synthetics or merino wool. Well, Patriot Nation, I would agree tentatively, because if I see John Lovell rocking his cool guy shit, that's not a pretty target to me, because I know that dude's going to wreck my world. So it can potentially, if they don't know what they're doing, but most of them cats that have the cool guy shit are either guys like John Lovell or like Dan Bilzerian.
Well, I think what we hope is that if we see John Lovell, he's like with us.
I would, yeah. The Mike Glovers, the flannel daddies of the world. So,
Damn, Patriot Nation just shot one over the bow.
yeah. Only 18-year-olds that are funded by the DNC can afford shit like that.
This is true, or the FBI.
Y'all gotta forgive him. He I know him, and he has one of the darkest minds I've ever.
Hey,
or
singing to the choir, brother.
I agree, Ranger J. That's another one that if I see him, I'm going where he's going. Is Mike Glover or Kevin Owen or any number of them dudes. They got the cool guy shit, and I'm going to go with them to mess stuff up. So, but that's really kind of what I wanted to kind of harp on tonight, was that sort of preparedness. Not, oh, look, I'm a prepper and I've got 17,000 pounds of rice and beans in my pantry. Because if you have 17,000 pounds of rice and beans, you better make sure that you're on my side, because I'm going to take your shit if you're not, or I'm going to try to.
A lot of people are going to, especially if they know you got it.
Right.
Don't advertise it.
Nope. Don't be telling people what you're doing.
We talked about
that before. That was kind of the big thing for me was, are you prepared? But definitely a much more pointed avenue this evening than we have talked about before, or that I've even seen a lot of videos about on YouTube or Rumble or Full30. Again, it's one of those things, everybody harps on the cool guy shit, but the sustainment gear is what keeps you alive.
Yeah, you're right, and if you pull up prepping right now, the first thing you'll see is weaponry.
Yep,
I mean, that's what they talk about constantly, over and over. But
and that's important.
It is, but it's not the only thing you have to worry about.
Exactly. That is
if you can't sustain bodily health, then that weaponry is not going to do you any good. Okay, nope. 3 days of famine and fatigue, you're not going to be able to protect yourself or anybody else.
Exactly.
And I mean, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you can buy these kits and stuff like that. I watched Black Scout Survival. I thought about getting some of those kits that they offer, but I just don't know. I don't know. I think
about like the freeze dried food.
Yeah, like survival kits, right? Food kits. But me, I'm the type of person, I would prefer to drive over to his location and sample some of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, it's one of them things. It's freeze dried shit gets old real fast.
Yeah. Freeze-dried ice cream sandwich is cool to think about.
Until you've eaten 2 of them and you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, it's like, damn, I was wasted $50.
You know,
What you trying to say, Jay?
and you know, and I don't even like that term prepper, because it has gotten this idea of being a quote unquote prepper. It's
a stigma.
It's a modern concept that has gotten such a negative connotation. The reality is it's you live life being able to sustain yourself outside of, oh, I need to go to the grocery store every day because I only have 48 hours worth of food at my house.
Yeah.
You know,
I got a feeling that Frank ate some of the chicken rigatoni or chicken Alfredo.
Saxman brings up another good point. And if you can't get the anti-chafing sticks, cheap, high-quality antiperspirant that's not scented works the same. So, and I will say from personal experience, being a big dude in hot environments where you can't shower regularly, that the compression style underwear, like your Under Armour underwear and stuff like that, are a necessity.
Frank throwing it out here. Yeah.
Well, look, so he can have So Frank's got it where he can survive on either crayons or MREs.
Hey,
I kid Frank, but I was in the Army too. So,
damn Jay.
yeah, Frank, you bring up a good point, man. Sun shower, one of them 5-gallon thick black plastic, the sun heater showers or whatever they call them. There's a lot to be said for being able to take a lukewarm shower and wash your pits and nutsack.
A hooker bath.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Dude wipes or whatever type of situation. It's those are the kind of items that that I'm talking about preparing here, having.
That is too funny.
Oh, damn.
I needed that, Jay. That's good shit, man.
Oh, I remember when they were peddling that shit. It was like, really? What the fuck?
Does he even need ball cream anymore? As much cross-dressing as he's doing on the internet these days?
I don't
know. I don't want to know.
I've seen that man more on TikTok in a wig and a sundress than I ever cared to.
Well, Ranger Jay said that if we hit 3,000 subs, he's going to wear a wig and a bikini.
I don't know why he said we had to get 3,000 subs. He does that shit on the weekend.
Well, he's scared that everybody will see his dragonfly tattoo.
Yeah, tramp stamps are hell when you get them drunk. So does anybody have any kind of questions about, like, I know a lot of us in here have considered that kind of stuff, and I see a number of outdoorsmen and or former military folks and stuff like that, but bounce. That's the whole point of this, was to bounce ideas off each other and talk about it, so that one person might have experience in an area that another dude doesn't have no experience in.
Hey, that's what we're here for, collection,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
like I said, this door is open. We don't care who comes on here. I mean, yeah, and you come on here, bullshit with us. I mean, y'all see, we're not a very serious group.
Mostly,
If you come on here spouting some damn wingnut bullshit, we're gonna eat your lunch.
Well, wing nuts are reserved for different days than Tuesdays.
That's Thursdays.
That's yeah. Hey, look, it might be wing nut shit, but we've got a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
Just saying.
This is true.
But
I hate it when we're right, but we generally are.
And I really just kind of wanted to bring attention to this kind of stuff because of a lot of things that I've been seeing in the news media and alternative news media and stuff like that in regards to Putin and his desires and frustrations towards our country and our, I believe, inappropriate supply of Ukraine and a whole bunch of other situations. I think at this point in time in our country, in our historical relevance, we are as close to where we were at societally as a country as we have ever been compared to 1776.
I second that. I believe we're seeing kind of a 1776 2.0.
It's all of the right. Here's the reality. All of the right societal issues are in place. It's just waiting for the right spark.
Well, the bad thing is that there's so many issues been put in place, from the LGBTQ, B-52, H-64, AK-47, to the Ukrainian war, to black and white. I mean, they've set so many different powder kegs up that they want one or more to ignite at once.
Even to proposing a 1,000% tax on ARs and gun parts, and
Sure.
Russian state media saying that they believe that the initial conflict in Ukraine is over and that World War III has begun. That's official Russian state media saying this. To Putin saying that he is willing to strike American targets because of our participation in Ukraine. To NATO depending solely on us, to the WHO treaty that would allow the director to call pretty much anything a pandemic and theoretically overrule national sovereignty and to use the UN to enforce things. So there's a lot of the same issues that we were shooting dudes for in 1776 are present and on our doorstep right now. So it's not gonna be long, I don't believe, before we have a modern Paul Revere saying the British are coming.
It won't be the British, though.
Well, I'm not literally saying the British.
No, I know. I'm just.
It's an allegory. Jesus.
No, I was just building upon what you were saying. It wasn't even a criticism, and you all up in your feelings. Listen to you.
Fucking sensitive Sally.
I'm offended.
Well, go find you a fucking safe space in a dark closet somewhere.
I have one right here next to my gun safe. So
Go empty a clip, a mag, and fill it back up. That's relaxing.
My point is it's all here. It's the whole idea of, well, when this happens, I'll do something, or this. What's really happening is that people are willingly moving the goalpost because they are afraid to stand up and take a.
But our society has been predicated to do just that.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with you.
And what you got to do, and this is the crux of the problem, get enough damn people to get off the government teat and wake the fuck up and get up off that damn couch and stop drooling watching damn Survivor and fucking CNN and wake the fuck up. But that's a
And
lot.
It's happening slowly, but it's
Yes,
happening.
it is.
You know, I'm seeing more and more every day. Even this youngest generation, there's a pretty stark divide. About half of them are complete pieces of garbage,
Yeah.
and about half of them have the same kind of attitude we do.
Yeah, but you got to watch the younger generation. And if there's any of y'all out there, I'm not throwing shade, just being honest. You know, they can't have that Call of Duty mentality. That's not what this is.
Well, no.
And I think that our children or our younger generation have been so desensitized that they don't realize what's at stake on both sides here. It's like they're once removed, like they're watching shit from far away. And so they don't think it really affects them. What they fail to realize is that it does. And when the rubber meets the road, they're going to feel it, you know, full force, whichever side they're on.
It's like the movie The Patriot, where Mel Gibson's character says this war won't be fought on far distant battlefields, but in our backyards and witnessed by our children's own eyes.
Correct.
Because make no mistake, folks, we are at war currently. It might be digital currently. It might be limited to digital and political battlefields for now, but we are certainly at war for the soul of this country.
Yeah, this is a different kind of warfare. Something that it's a whole new modus operandi. Everything's different. The rules of engagement are different. The battlefield is different.
But what I think the big thing is that too many people are buying into the us versus them and not us versus the media and or elites on Capitol Hill.
Right, because they're playing the people against each other. I mean, okay, just think this through for a minute. I know that I'm going to bring up a very large group of ninja-clad fucktards, but think if you could get all these black militia, whatever they are, take InFact, for instance, or some other organizations, they're so caught up in pushing the race agenda. But what they fail to realize is they can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
It's not Whitey over here doing this shit to you. It's the government playing you and Whitey against each other. If the two of you would sit down at a damn table and quit quibbling and talking about shit that's happened however long ago, or to your brother's cousin's aunt when she went to the grocery store, and sit down and really look at the real issues and work together, you could right this fucking ship and make it a better place.
Quit letting passion override reason.
Exactly. And quit being manipulated.
Now they want to send millions to Ukraine. Frank, they've been sending billions to Ukraine. We're past the millions point.
Yeah, Ukraine, we shouldn't be sending them nothing, but never mind. I'm not even going to get fucking started on that shit. You're right. Wash our hands of that shit. We shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing any of this shit.
But if we weren't involved there would go the government's biggest money laundering facility in the world.
Not my fucking problem.
But it is your problem because they're laundering your fucking money.
Well, there is because the federal government's not been held in check for fucking 40 damn years, and they've been raping the damn American people.
Absolutely.
That's the problem.
Absolutely.
I remember growing up, and I know you're going to say I'm an old fuck again. That's fine. But I remember growing up and a big controversy being about them writing checks in the federal government in taking the money from Social Security to pay for the checks. They would write a check to pay for an expense, a senator would, knowing there was no money in the account, and the check would be processed regardless, fees and all.
Well, yeah.
And, you know, it's like, who does that shit? Why?
Oh, that shit.
We did that. Our ass would get locked up.
That's what happened when
Because you're the Fed, you can do it with no recourse? No, hell no.
Apparently Frank said all of our it's all froze up for him.
I'm watching on my other screen. It's still.
Yeah, I don't have an issue. It's rolling fine but anyway, we've gotten really far off track of what we were originally talking about. So
We always get off track. That's what makes it fun.
I will say this. Yeah, things have gotten more expensive, but they're only going to get more expensive. So you might have to take a couple of days off from your double team top bun Whopper to go pick up some stuff. But what?
Just the terminology, damn.
Well, Burger King come up with a sandwich for Pride Month over there in Austria where you can get it with 2 top buns or 2 bottom buns. Because somehow having 2 halves of 2 separate burger buns makes you
Okay, but do you think maybe that somebody at Burger King did this as a slight to the Pride Month? I mean, think about it. Think about it.
So much for your Atkins diet.
But they're only making it available in Austria, which I find strange because the only influential person that ever came out of Austria was staunchly anti-gay.
I got
Yes,
nothing.
that's a reference to Hitler, people. Just saying.
He was anti a lot of shit, not just gay.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, like I said, it may mean that you hold off on your Hostess and RC Cola up there at the gas station for a few times, but you know it's a matter of figuring out what's important to you. If it's important, you'll make time for it or energy towards it. And
Also, you know, not to cut you off, brother. Hit on what he was saying. You may not be in a position where you can get everything at one time or this, that, and the other. I mean, what you need to do is make a list of what you think you may need.
right.
And then you prioritize and you work towards that goal. That's the best way to do it.
And I'll tell you, you know, when you're poor like me, being capable at DIY is okay too. You know, it's funny. I saw a TikTok video the other day that said it's not being poor that's the problem. It's that you're not good at being poor. Being able to go buy nice shit is a luxury of the rich. If you want nice shit and you're poor, you got to take some sorry shit and make it nice shit. So, you know, being able to DIY some stuff, it's perfectly okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm of the mindset I don't have a problem getting something that's used or will beat up or this, that, and other. I will work on it.
Yeah.
Fix it. But that's my, I don't think it's a generational thing. It's just me as a person.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that does that shit. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's how, but here's the thing. We'll go a step further than that, Demon. Most people who are wealthy
Are stingy.
They're stingy and a lot of them will live modestly. I'm not saying everybody. We're not talking about Donald Trump or Nancy Pelosi or fucking California raisin ass. But they're very stingy with their money and they live a much more of a moderate lifestyle.
Right.
And that's why, you know, they're cheap. I mean, You know, we got a guy on radio here called Clark Howard. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of him. He's on talk radio. And he's the cheapest son of a bitch I've ever seen, but he's filthy rich. His wife runs a travel agency. So
that's how he got filthy rich, was by being
well,
cheap.
no, he got filthy rich from being on TV and radio and everything. But the point I'm making, this dude will take a razor and use a razor for a year.
Well, I mean, hey, look at him, right?
I know, but I'm just saying.
When he stops being on radio or whatever. You know, if he has an income stops coming in, he'll still be able to live.
Correct.
Where you got these basketball stars making millions of dollars every basketball season, and when they retire from basketball within 3 years, they're freaking broke.
Yeah, exactly. Because they never learned to live within their means, and so no one ever taught them how to control that money or manage it because they used an agent. So when they went to retirement, it's like giving a kid a Toys R Us blank checks and buy some shit. They just don't realize that when they buy it, they're broke.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's simple stuff like right. I didn't have a chest rig, and chest rigs are pretty pricey. I promise you, if they was calling it a demon dog, it wouldn't be no foot long. I promise you that. Anyway, it'd be like one of them little mini corn dogs from Walmart. Chest rigs, perfect example, right? They run you probably $100 or more. But I found it's called a TAP panel, it's a tactical assault panel that we were issued in the military. I found one on eBay for I think like $30, and I've modified it because I know how to sew and this and that and the other, but I've modified it so that it works as a chest rig.
Right.
You know, so that's the point I'm getting at, is that you can have the things without spending a crap load of money if you can DIY your own stuff. I just did it earlier last week. I've been wanting a Berkey filter for water. Well, I went to Walmart and got 2 stock pots, bought some filters, and I made my own Berkey filter.
Right.
Spent $100 building it, and a Berkey filter's $400.
Yep.
Same capability for a hell of a lot less money.
Yep. And that's because you took the time to get the knowledge to do it yourself.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's commendable. I would try and encourage anybody to do shit like that. It makes you that much more, to me, self-sufficient.
Yes, sir. So that's all. Invest some time in sustainment gear, folks, because you're going to need it. Whether it's used in an offensive capacity or, you know, here in a couple of months when gas is $10 a gallon. So.
All right. Well, damn, we've been clicking along, y'all.
Yes, we have.
So, yeah, you read my mind on that too. Anywho, so good show tonight, everybody. I'm gonna kick it over. Demon, you got any closing words there, brother?
I will echo out loud what Saxman just put in. Check out Instructables. There's a lot of really cool projects and stuff that you can find out on there. But mainly get shit, train with shit, and make yourself more capable and more dangerous, because I would cautionarily predict that within the next year and a half, you're going to need it. So build you a local network and work with them, know each other. You know, it's nice having this in a national type capacity, but local is going to be where it's at when it boils down to it.
Absolutely. Absentee.
To kind of touch base on or touch off what Demon just said, it finds like-minded individuals. I'm not saying be planning an insurrection, as they say, but I'm saying in the event shit goes sideways, which we all kind of see there's smoke on the horizon here. You need people you can trust. They're like-minded individuals who you can rely on, and they can rely on you. I've done it with some of my neighbors, done with a lot of folks here. I highly encourage you to do that. I'm not saying you got to invite them over to spend the night and show them all your shit, but you need to have people you feel comfortable with that you think you can trust. It's always quality over quantity. Remember that.
Yep.
Get all the, do all the studying and research you can. Learn, try to hone your skills of what you're good at and get better at things you're not good at, because all of that's going to be viable in the future. Stay strapped, stay safe, stay dangerous.
Copy that. So before we get out of here, thank y'all for coming by, everybody in the chat. Absentee Demon, thank y'all as always. A lot of information thrown out there, y'all, and it's kind of more of the behind the scenes information as far as being prepared. And I'm like Demon, I don't like the word prepper either. Having knowledge doesn't mean you're a prepper. All right. A prepper, in my opinion, is someone that's trying to be reactive instead of proactive. Because you can never prep for everything. I mean, and a word of advice for you is warmer months right now. If you've never been camping, go do it. Get the experience. I mean, I'm not saying take 55 coolers with you and all that stuff. Go out there and rough it. Sleeping bag, maybe a small pup tent or something like that. Get out there and get used to it. Kind of know what you're going to run into. That's pretty much all I got. Y'all make sure you go check out that guy that we told y'all about earlier. Go subscribe. Let him know that you came from here. Maybe we'll get some of their subscribers and we'll cross subscribe each other. I'm actually going to reach out to this guy and see if we can do a joint session one night. Kind of see how that goes. Kind of feel him out on that. But anyway, other than that, y'all be safe. Like they said, carry always, be prepared, watch your six, all that good stuff. Subscribe, hit the like, share. Other than that, y'all have a good night. Be safe.
Adios.